You are not ready for what's about to drop. A private church meeting. A man in the pulpit. A whispered conversation caught on a hot mic. And now, the internet is spiraling after Chrisean Rock's own pastor just leaked. It's the most devastating secret of her entire life. And it's not about her. It's about her baby. Because Junior, the baby that millions of people watched be born on live stream, the child who has been in headlines more than most grown adults, may be facing a life-threatening diagnosis that no one was supposed to know about. Not the fans, not the blogs, not even Blueface. But now, it's out. And the way it got out will make your skin crawl. We're talking betrayal from inside her own spiritual circle. A place of prayer turned into a place of exposure. And the man who dropped it, a longtime mentor, a faith leader, someone who once called Chrisean his daughter in Christ, till now, because once the cameras stopped rolling, once the prayers were said and the service ended, a phone was left recording, and what it captured could tear her world apart. We're talking about whispers of neurological conditions, long-term developmental challenges, and medical records that were supposedly only seen by 2 people until someone couldn't keep their mouth shut, and now the damage is done. But what happens next is even worse, because Blueface just found out. And if you think he's staying silent, think again before this is over. There will be threats, receipts, screaming matches, and broken loyalties. This is no longer just celebrity gossip. This is a crisis. And if you thought Chrisean was chaotic before, you haven't seen anything yet to understand just how devastating this leak is. You need to understand the storm that's always followed Chrisean Rock, because this betrayal, it didn't come out of nowhere. It's been building quietly, slowly, behind every prayer, behind every camera, behind every smile she forced herself to wear. From the very beginning, Chrisean was never just famous. She was infamous, a fighter, a runaway, a reality TV wild card. The girl with a missing tooth and a never-back-down attitude. People laughed, judged, mocked her pain, but they kept watching. And that attention, it fed the monster around her Blueface Zeus network. Social media, the cycle. She became entertainment, not a person. And in the middle of all that chaos, she tried to find God. That's not a rumor. That's real. After one of her most public meltdowns, when she was dragged out of a party by security, mascara streaked down her face, screaming that Blueface had left her alone and pregnant in the VIP section, something shifted. The next week, she was at church, not for a photo shoot, not for content, but for desperation. It was a small, non-denominational church in Los Angeles, the kind of place that doesn't judge where you came from, just who you're trying to be. She didn't walk in like a celebrity. She walked in like a soul in free fall. And that's where she met him, Pastor Gregory Holt. Early 50s.com voice. No social media. No flashy sermons. Just real talk, scripture. And a reputation for helping broken people stay alive. He became her anchor. He met with her privately, prayed with her, even baptized her in a small, quiet service away from cameras, just her, the pastor, and 2 church elders. It was supposed to be a new beginning. And for a moment, it was. She stopped going out. She posted about healing. She began attending Bible study twice a week. She started saying things like, "I'm trying to walk different, and I'm letting God lead now." But the chaos never left her alone, because Blueface wasn't about to let her grow without him. He'd show up unannounced, post her location, beg her to come home. Then, a week later, go on IG Live calling her crazy, accusing her of hiding the baby, mocking her faith. Still, she tried to hold on, because deep down, she believed in redemption. She believed that if she changed herself, maybe he would change too. She even tried bringing Blueface to church once. He sat in the back, sunglasses on, scrolling his phone the whole time, and Pastor Holt, he didn't flinch. He greeted him after service, told him, "You're welcome anytime, brother." But insiders say the energy shifted after that. Because that same week, Chrisean found out she was being filmed during one of her private prayer sessions. A short clip, only 12 seconds, leaked online. It showed her weeping in the front pew, hands clasped, sobbing the words, "Please help my baby." People assumed it was someone from the congregation, but rumors swirled that it wasn't random. Some said a staff member had been offered $5,000 to secretly record her and send it to a blog for exposure. Others whispered that it wasn't about money, it was about control. And through it all, Pastor Holt stood by her. Or at least that's what she thought. Because what came next changed everything. As JR's due date approached, Chrisean became increasingly private. She posted less. She pulled back from Zeus' network. She even stopped responding to Blueface's texts. Insiders said she wanted to shield her baby from the madness. But he went on a rampage, claiming she was hiding his son, saying she was trying to give birth without letting him know. He tweeted things like, "IDG if the baby even mine," and "she'll act like I'm the villain." When Pastor Holt stepped in publicly, he made a rare statement from the pulpit. Streamed to his small congregation's YouTube channel, he said, "We must protect our sisters in Christ, especially those carrying life. The enemy uses confusion to divide families, but God's truth will always prevail." It was subtle, but it was support. Fans praised him. They said, finally, someone's standing up for her. But now, those same fans are calling him a fraud. Because this man, this pastor, just leaked something so personal, so devastating, so invasive. It's leaving the internet stunned, and it all started with a phone left on the pulpit. A simple mistake, or was it? After a Wednesday night service smaller than usual, maybe 20 people tops, Pastor Holt gave a closing prayer. It was heartfelt, intimate. He hugged Chrisean as she left. She smiled. Peaceful. But someone forgot their phone recording under the front pew. A teenager, filming aesthetic church vibes for TikTok. That footage captured what happened next, because once the congregation cleared out, Pastor Holt didn't leave. He stayed behind, talking in hushed tones to a woman believed to be another church elder. And what he said was picked up crystal clear. He said, "I'm worried for that child. The doctors say it could be neurological. She hasn't told the father. She doesn't want it public. But I'm telling you, if she's not honest soon, it's going to come out anyway. That boy deserves the truth." That recording hit the internet less than 24 hours later, and all hell broke loose. Blogs reposted it. Headlines exploded. Chrisean's pastor leaks baby JR's diagnosis. Is Blueface being kept in the dark? Privacy violated, OR truth exposed. And in the middle of all this, Chrisean went completely silent. No posts. No lives, no stories, just silence. The moment that recording hit the internet, the response was instant. Chrisean's fans were in full panic mode. Blogs were dissecting every word. Hashtag #ProtectJR started trending on Twitter. People were demanding answers, demanding accountability, demanding blood. But nobody was angrier than Blueface, because for months he had been playing the villain. The absentee dad? The guy more worried about club appearances and cash grabs than his own son's well-being. He was mocked, humiliated, told by thousands, "You don't deserve that baby." And now, suddenly he was the one who didn't know. Suddenly Chrisean was the one keeping secrets. When that leak went viral, Blueface was in Miami, mid-dinner view with a controversial YouTuber known for instigating drama. He was relaxed, arrogant, sipping Casamigos straight from the bottle until the host's phone lit up. And when they showed him the recording, Blueface exploded. On camera. Live, unedited, unfiltered. He snatched the phone, stared at the screen, and she made one call. To her legal team, and within 12 hours, a cease and desist letter was sent directly to Pastor Holt's church hand, leaked by a staff member within minutes. The letter stated, "You are hereby instructed to refrain from disclosing, discussing, or referencing any and all personal, medical, or private information related to minor J. R., son of Chrisean Malone, effective immediately." The internet erupted again. Now, The scandal wasn't just emotional, it was legal. People started questioning everything. Was Pastor Holt ever truly her spiritual protector? Had he been leaking information to blogs all along? Was the church paid to keep her close and exploit her pain? And that's when the first twist dropped, because a former congregation member came forward with a bombshell confession anonymously uploaded to Reddit and later reposted to TikTok. In the video, the woman said, "I used to go to Pastor Holt's church. I left because I saw some shady things. And I'm telling you, he wasn't just helping Chrisean out of love. He was recording sessions, keeping notes, collecting everything. And guess who he was forwarding it to?" The next slide showed a screenshot of an email. It was blurred for legal reasons, but one name was clear in the recipient list: Zeus Network. That's right, that's the same company that profited off Chrisean's most traumatic moments, the fights, the breakdowns. The pregnancy scares was allegedly receiving inside information from her own pastor. And suddenly, it all clicked. The 12-second church clip that leaked months ago, it's the one that showed her crying, praying for her unborn child. It wasn't an accident. It was a setup. Now fans were connecting the dots. Comment sections were flooded with theories. She was being monitored the whole time. This wasn't ministry, it was a media trap. No wonder Blueface always knew when to show up. He was being fed info. The betrayal was deeper than anyone thought. Chrisean wasn't just dealing with a private diagnosis becoming public. She was living in a surveillance bubble. And then she broke her silence. In a tearful Instagram Levi's puffy, voice shaking, she looked directly into the camera and said, I tried to keep my son safe. I left the cameras. I left the drama. Left him. I put my faith in God and people who said they were sent by him. And they used it against me." She paused, swallowed hard. "I ain't perfect. But I never wanted my baby to be content. He's not a storyline. He's my everything. And I don't owe nobody details about his body or his brain or his journey." The live ended with one chilling sentence: "You broke my heart, Pastor." That single line trended worldwide, and as if things couldn't get worse, a second recording dropped. But this one didn't come from inside the church. It came from a security guard at a downtown lay children's clinic. In the recording, you can hear Chrisean pleading with staff not to allow Blueface inside the facility. "He ain't on the list. He don't got rights to see him. Please, I'm begging you. My son don't need that energy right now." The guard posted it anonymously, claiming he was tired of seeing her painted like the villain. And just like that, the narrative flipped again. Now Blueface was being accused of forcing himself into private medical spaces, of weaponizing his platform to intimidate his baby's mother, and worst of all, cloud chasing off his child's health. The chaos was now borderline criminal. Blogs didn't know whose side to take. Fans were fighting in the comments. Chrisean's name trended for 72 hours straight. And Pastor Holt vanished. No statement. No apology. No denial. His church deleted their website, turned off all social media. Gone. The silence from Pastor Holt should have calmed things down. But instead, it poured gasoline on a fire already threatening to engulf the entire internet. Because when someone who's always preaching suddenly goes mute, people assume only one thing: they're hiding something. And oh, he was hiding a lot. Because right when the blogs were beginning to calm, right when the Protect Junior hashtags started slowing down, right when fans began wondering if maybe this would blow over, a second medical leak hit the internet. And this one. This wasn't a recording. This wasn't a whisper. This wasn't a pastor gossiping in a church after hours. This was a document, a real, stamped, time-stamped, multi-page medical evaluation allegedly from a pediatric neurologist at Cedars-Sinai. The title read, Developmental Progress Evaluation, J.R. redacted last name. Every section was heavily censored, except one. A single sentence highlighted in bold. Patient presents signs consistent with early sensory processing delays. That one phrase sent the internet into a tailspin. People didn't know what it meant. Was it serious? Was it mild? Was it life-threatening? And because most people aren't doctors, they filled in the blanks with fear, misinformation, and viral speculation. TikTok became a breeding ground for chaos. Does this mean Chrisean was right to keep Blueface away? Is this why she didn't want cameras around him? Did Zeus try to film him anyway? Did Pastor Holt leak this too? And then the twist nobody expected. Cedars-Sinai released a statement. A vague, clinical statement that didn't name names but said, "We are investigating an unauthorized disclosure of a minor's protected health information." That was huge. Hospitals do not get involved unless something real happened behind the scenes. Suddenly, this wasn't celebrity drama. This was a HIPAA violation investigation, a federal-level reach, meaning someone close to Chrisean accessed medical files and leaked them. And guess who had accompanied her to JR's appointment 2 months earlier? Pastor Holt. Yes, the man Chrisean trusted. The man she cried in front of. The man she saw as spiritual family. The man she entrusted with her life and her child. He was one of only 3 authorized adults listed on the paperwork. But before the internet crowned him guilty, something else happened. Something massive, something that made everyone freeze. New figure stepped into the story. A woman, spiritual leader. And not just any leader, someone with a huge online following and a reputation for being the celebrity pastor for the broken. Her name, Pastor Shayla Rivers, soft-spoken, charming, massive TikTok ministry. Known for helping victims of emotional abuse reclaim their power. She'd gone viral for calling out manipulative pastors and church narcissism. On a random Sunday morning, she posted a TikTok that said, "Some of y'all aren't in spiritual warfare. You're just stuck under the wrong leadership. God didn't send them, they're dangerous." People didn't connect the dots, till she went live 2 hours later and said, "Chrisean, baby, if you see this, I'm praying for you. You were failed. Not by God, by people pretending to speak for him." The comments exploded. The internet began stitching the live saying, "Is this about the Holt drama? Pastor V's, Pastor B's, Pastor. What is happening?" And Pastor Shayla didn't back down. She continued, "When a leader breaks confidentiality, that is not ministry. That is manipulation. God does not leak your secrets for views." That line went viral. 10 million views in 6 hours. People started tagging her in every Chrisean post, every Blueface tweet, every junior update. They begged her to intervene. And then she dropped the real bomb. "I spoke with someone close to Chrisean, and I can confirm it wasn't her pastor who leaked the second document." Wait, what? Pastor Holt was a villain, but he wasn't the one behind this leak. Then who was? The internet had theories, wild, unhinged theories, but none prepared anyone for the next reveal. Because an anonymous Twitter account, one that had been posting hints all week, finally dropped the real tea. A screenshot. An email screenshot sent from an assistant at Cedars-Sinai to someone who used to work at Zeus Network. Subject line, per. Your request attached is a developmental summary for the child. The attachment. People screamed. Zeus. The same network that made millions off Chrisean's trauma. The same company Blueface accused of exploiting his family. The same executives who allegedly pressured her to film during pregnancy. It made sick, twisted sense. Zeus had motive. Access. And money. This wasn't a spiritual betrayal anymore. This was a corporate one people had always suspected. Zeus wanted Chrisean back on camera, especially after her motherhood arc boosted ratings. But to take a medical document from a minor, that crossed every line imaginable. And it wasn't long before a celebrity joined the war. Not a rapper. Not an influencer. Not a messy reality TV star. A beloved A-list actress with nothing to gain and everything to protect. Someone universally Respected. Someone who rarely speaks on drama, but always trends when she does. Taraji P. Henson, she tweeted, "Using a mother's worst fears for entertainment is disgusting. I stand with Chrisean, and I hope she sues every last person involved." The internet went nuclear.taraj. "I was one of the few people whose word meant something." And then she followed it up with a second tweet. "Stop weaponizing Black mothers' pain. It's enough." Celebrities retweeted it like wildfire. Kick Palmer, Summer Walker, SZA, Megan Good, Danielle Brooks, Lizzo. They all backed her. Suddenly, it wasn't cool to bully Chrisean anymore. Suddenly, the internet was turning against Zeus, against Blueface, against the pastor, against anyone who had touched this child's privacy. And as the world argued, debated, and dissected the chaos, another twist quietly slipped out. A third leak, one that changes the entire narrative. A voice memo from Pastor Holt sent to someone whose identity is still unknown. And in that recording, Pastor Holt whispered, "I didn't leak the medical report, but I know who did. And if they force my hand, I'm exposing everything. Everything. The church. The network. The contracts. The secrets. The truth about JR. This isn't a scandal anymore. This is a war. And the next phase will be blood." The internet wasn't just reacting anymore. It was erupting. What began as whispers in a church then evolved into medical leaks, private recordings, and anonymous threats was now a full-blown cultural reckoning. Public opinion wasn't split. It was a battlefield. On one side, the Protect Chrisean army, fierce, loud, organized, fueled by fury and pain. These were the fans who had watched Chrisean be dragged through hell. Phil Chayan finally had the receipts to prove she was never the villain, she was the victim all along. And on the other, the Blueface defenders, loyal, delusional, and absolutely convinced that everything Chrisean was going through was karma. They spammed her. "Comments with you made your bed, and you were never a mother." Just a headline. But the middle was terrified because no one, no matter their stance, could deny this one chilling truth. A child's private medical information had been leaked and weaponized, and that sent shockwaves across the industry in a rare move. The National Association of Child Actors and Performers posted an official statement. "We are deeply disturbed by the weaponization of a minor's private records in media discourse. No child, celebrity or not, should have their health used as leverage for public spectacle." The post received over 900,000 likes in 8 hours. More organizations followed suit. SAG-AFTRA issued a reminder that all underage talent must be protected from emotional harm and data exploitation. Planned Parenthood tweeted, "When women seek help, they should never be punished for privacy." Even Nickelodeon alumni began speaking out, many recalling how their own mental health records had been used against them as teens. Suddenly, JR wasn't just a celebrity baby. He was a symbol of innocence. Violated. And right when things seemed like they couldn't spiral further, Zeus Network made the worst decision possible. They released a statement, and it wasn't an apology, it was a denial. A cold, corporate-written paragraph that read, "Zeus Network has not engaged in any unauthorized access or dissemination of private health records. We respect the legal process and the privacy of all parties involved. Any allegations to the contrary are defamatory and will be addressed accordingly." Twitter blew up. The quote tweets were scathing. "The most gaslight why thing I've read all year. You might as well have screamed, 'I did IT.' With this PR disaster, y'all really tried to spin this. Fire your entire team." And then Zeus lost their first sponsor, a luxury skincare brand, one that had been running ads during Zeus reality shows. Issued a brutal announcement. "We have pulled all advertising from Zeus Network effective immediately. We do not condone the exploitation of minors or the mishandling of sensitive data." That's when the dam broke. 3 more sponsors dropped within 24 hours. A major payment processor, froze their ad deals. Then YouTube demonetized clips from their reality series featuring Chrisean's pregnancy arc. Zeus was crumbling, and Blueface, instead of laying low, he poured gasoline on the fire in a series of unhinged Instagram stories. He called Pastor Shayla a clout-chasing, which threatened to sue. Steter Sinai for allowing fake info to leak, claimed he had proof. Chrisean faked the diagnosis to get sympathy. That last claim, it pushed things too far because within an hour, Chrisean's legal team responded with a formal cease and desist against Blueface, stating the continuous emotional harassment and defamation directed at our client and her child are under legal review. Any further false statements will result in immediate legal action. That's when a completely unexpected voice entered the chat. Beyoncé's publicist, not Bey herself, but Yvette Noel-Scher, a respected high-profile woman who rarely gets involved in online drama, posted, "Children are not props. Mothers deserve protection. Full stop." Everyone knew exactly who that was. About. The industry was turning. People who had previously stayed silent now began soft canceling Zeus and Blueface. Influencers deleted old collabs. Fashion brands unfollowed him on Instagram, and then came the whispers. From insiders. From stylists, bodyguards, hairdressers, security teams, people who had been around the drama behind the scenes, people who had seen too. A private Reddit thread with verified industry members began to fill with claims. Zeus had a camera crew tailing her even after she left the show. Pastor Holt was on a consulting contract, not spiritual. Blueface was promised a six-figure check if he could bring her back for one final reunion episode. The implications. They all profited off her trauma. Even worse, they planned it, but nothing could have prepared anyone for what happened next, because that night, Chrisean posted a single sentence on Twitter. "I have recordings too. Stop playing with me." Retweets, 1 million. Favorites, 2.7 million. Replies, a mix of gasps and panic. The tables had turned, and no one knew what was coming next. That tweet from Chrisean, "I have recordings too. Stop playing with me," didn't just trend. It ignited a war within minutes. Drop the Clip was trending worldwide. Fans, influencers, even major bloggers flooded her mentions, begging her to leak the tape. Some claimed to already know what it was. Others speculated it was a phone call with Blueface, or maybe a conversation between Zeus's producers and her pastor. But no one expected the truth, because what Chrisean dropped next wasn't a phone call, it wasn't a confession, it was a video. A grainy, low-quality video obviously captured from a hidden camera showing the inside of a luxury office space. Zeus logos on the walls, framed photos of their biggest shows, champagne flutes on the counter, and then the audio begins. A male voice, unmistakably that of a Zeus executive, is speaking. "Look, I'm not saying we exploit the baby, but if you show the struggle, that's ratings. That's MI level. We're talking motherhood."
Panic. Within 2 hours, Zeus executives began locking down social media accounts. The CEO's Instagram went private. A showrunner deleted her Twitter entirely. Legal teams were reportedly scrambling, according to a leaked Slack message from a now former employee who claimed, "They're deleting internal threads. This is worse than anyone expected." Even more explosive, Blueface posted a single reaction to the leaked video. "I told y'all, don't play with me. Everyone's dirty." Wait, what? Now Blueface was agreeing with Chrisean? For the first time in months, the two were aligned, which meant someone had crossed them both. The enemy wasn't each other anymore. It was the machine behind the chaos. And then, one of the key players disappeared. Pastor Holt, gone. No new sermons. No live streams. No church services. The ministry's phone number went to voicemail. Reports emerged that his home address had been wiped from real estate databases. Even his YouTube channel vanished overnight. And that's when the rumors started. One blog posted, "Unconfirmed reports say an arrest warrant has been filed against a prominent religious figure in connection to HIPAA violations and media fraud." Another gossip site, known for being shockingly accurate, claimed, "The feds have been quietly building a case for months. Holt is just the beginning." Suddenly, this wasn't about Chrisean or Blueface anymore. It was about a system of exploitation. A machine designed to break people for profit and hide behind God and contracts. And the machine was cracking. But just when it felt like justice was near, another twist shattered the internet. Because right when people thought they understood what happened, another person stepped into the ring. A former Zeus employee. Posting anonymously under the alias CameraOp Truth, this whistleblower uploaded a 12-minute tell-all video to YouTube titled, "What You Didn't See: How We Really Filmed Chrisean." In it, their voices distorted, face blurred. But their words? Unforgettable. "We were told to keep the cameras rolling. Even when she said stop. Especially when she said stop. I once saw a producer text Blueface mid-filming to bait him into showing up during a therapy session. We knew JR had developmental issues before Chrisean did. The medical files were leaked to production before she got the results. They sat on it, then leaked it when ratings dipped. She cried after every shoot. She begged us to protect her son. But we weren't hired to protect. We were hired to profit." The video had over 6 million views in 10 hours. Hollywood insiders started tweeting warnings to all reality stars. "Get out of your Zeus contracts now. Delete any footage you don't want leaked. This is just the beginning." And behind the scenes, rumors swirled of a class action lawsuit forming. But just when fans thought they had the full picture, Chrisean posted one final bombshell. A cryptic photo. A blurry screenshot of what appeared to be a confidential settlement agreement. No names. No dates. Just a highlighted section that read, "The undersigned agrees not to pursue any further legal action related to the filming, editing, and broadcast of the minor child in question." Fans were shook. Was this a past contract? Did Chrisean already sign away her rights? Or worse, did someone forge her signature? No one knew. But her caption made it crystal clear. "You think it's over? Nah. I just started reading." And the comment that got the most likes? Season 2 starts now. You've heard the leaks. You've seen the receipts. You've watched the betrayals explode, one after another. But now the question isn't what happened. It's this. Who's really behind the curtain? Because let's be honest, someone is pulling the strings. Someone greenlit the cameras. Someone whispered to the pastor. Someone sold the files. Was it Zeus? Was it Blueface? Was it someone even bigger? And if this was all a game of control, what exactly was the prize? Your turn. We want to hear from you, right now in the comments. Fire was Chrisean set up from the beginning? Fire did Blueface know more than he let on? Fire is Zeus a media monster, or just a scapegoat for an even darker force? And most importantly, warning, should federal charges be filed for this level of exploitation? We're talking HIPAA violations, child privacy invasions, psychological warfare disguised as entertainment. This isn't just drama, it's a damn crisis. Drop your thoughts below, and do not hold back. And while you're at it, hit that like button if you believe Chrisean and her son deserve justice. Subscribe right now if you're ready to follow this saga to the bitter, brutal end. Because this isn't over. We've got exclusive audio leaks. We've got contract screenshots you haven't seen. And we've got a hidden figure tied to this scandal that nobody is talking about yet. The next episode? We're naming names. And if you think this was shocking, you have no idea what's coming next. Turn your notifications on. Because the empire is crumbling, and someone's going to fall. Hard. Stay locked in. Stay loud. And stay dangerous. Until next time.